All right. Welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We are here in Jenny Jump State Forest in Hope, New Jersey. On site, unfortunately, it feels like clouds are rolling in. But first, I can hear some people rolling up. So before I go over the safety briefing for here, uh, I do want to encourage everyone to check us out online on our website, uacnj.org. It's where you're going to find a list of all our current talks that are upcoming, as well as our past talks, as well as information about what telescopes we have available, and our all our member clubs, because we are a club made up of other clubs, and one of our goals is to uh, do science outreach and astronomy outreach, and really get people involved in their local community clubs, because the tips for astronomy out here in some of the darkest skies in New Jersey are going to be a little different than the sightseeing tips in if you are in like Long Island, Manhattan, or in the city. So the tips I know might not work so well in the city, which is why we connect you to your local club whenever possible. In addition, you can check us out on our social media pages. That's Facebook, Instagram. We have a Discord channel. Feel free to post your photos, ask questions about your telescope setup, show off your telescope setup, because whenever we all buy telescopes, suddenly we have clouds. I suspect one of our observers bought a new telescope, which is now we are paying the cloud tax. Because buy new gear, ooh, really excited to use it. No, clouds. So I have a feeling that's what happened. In addition, you we are a nonprofit, so all of your donations, or even just showing up for free, lets the state park and whatnot, who we lease land from, to do this, know that we are doing a good job. If you happen to be watching on our live stream, our YouTube and Twitch audience, do hit those like and subscribe buttons. They are completely free actions. Uh, so you can support us that way as well. So, getting on to the safety briefing for everyone here. Uh, since I was warned that uh, there was a very low chance of thunderstorms rolling through, if a thunderstorm rolls through, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on and we'll have decided at that point, looked at radar and whatnot. If it's going to be a short time, we'll have you possibly we'll direct you where to go at that time. Chances are we'll move indoors into our smaller lecture hall. It is very small though, which is why we're not in there and we're out here, because small rooms, lots of people, it just gets uncomfortably warm. Let's not do that. If you need to use the bathroom, that is the porta potty in the back to my left, your right. We also have a museum and gift shop area also to my left or right, outlined in red, which is not on. I will turn that on after I'm done. I've realized the lights are not on. I've once again failed at the checklist. With that, tonight's presentation is Astronomy for Beginners with Ken Taylor. Ken has nearly a decade of experience, or by now it's got to be over a decade of experience. Yeah, I don't know why you put in your bio it's only a decade. Right. So, uh, he he has done astronomy photographs and been featured in editions of our UACNJ calendar. He's a member of Northwest Jersey Amateur Astronomers in Blairstown and enjoys having fun entertaining all who want to know a little bit about astronomy. That's your cue. Come on. You can come here and I'll apparently he's shy tonight. It's
Hmm.
on.
Oh, there. Oh, I wasn't close enough. Hi, everybody. Again, thank you for coming. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? I'm trying my best. Either way, astronomy for beginners. Who all are local to here? Hands? There, one over there, one over there. Okay, fine. Well, again, we have visitors all the way from Long Island. sorry. I'm sorry. I have to wave to the people online. Either way, again, I have fun. My talks are elementary. They are simple to understand, or at least in my eyes. But either way, astronomy for beginners. Like me, everything I've learned about astronomy, I learned from UACNJ members. That includes my astrophotography. I wasn't a photographer in any way, shape, or form prior. So, anyone interested in getting involved with a club, join a club. Hopefully, that is a supporting club of UACNJ. If that's a, yeah, this thing doesn't work unless it's right on your mouth. And with that, I just put a little higher. Whoop.
Yeah, don't touch it. It should be good. Try.
1, 2. Sorry. Either way, astronomy for beginners, and again, like myself, um, i- it's a great hobby. FYI, how I got started with the hobby as a kid, I always looked up in the sky and laid on a picnic table when I was out camping with my family. End results are is that I had a friend of mine who actually was a, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? Who actually is a garbage man in East Hanover. Ken, come on over, have a beer, so on and so forth. So with that, I went over. How's it going, Paul? Oh, okay, fine, so on and so forth. So what's going on? Whatever, here's the beer, so on and so forth. He says, I picked up a telescope in the garbage. Somebody had it out. Doesn't worth a darn. Well, bring it out. I know nothing about telescopes. Brings it out. It was mid-afternoon. The moon was up. Yep. Yeah, that's got to be pointed at the moon. And, but I only get blurry stuff. It's Paul. Step away from the telescope. With that, I walked over, turned it around. Did you want to see the moon? There's a hole in this end. There's a hole in, not a hole in the other end. Don't get me wrong. I just knew that there had to be a hole for the light to come in. So that's how I got started. Found a club. End results are there was a supporting club of UACNJ, and I became a member here. So let's get started with the presentation. As a young boy, I was always wondering, what was out there, so on and so forth. In the sky, always ask the questions of, what can I really see in a telescope compared even to a magazine? Or is it all fake? The pictures that you see in a magazine, as you see on television, are usually either a Hubble, a Webb, which are space telescopes that we do have out. And basically, they'll take the pictures, but those are long exposure pictures. You can't see them with your naked eye. Some of the things that we do get involved with here is try to introduce that to people to understand that just like anything else, if you're looking at it, you're not seeing the full detail. There are things out there that you can see with no problem, which are stars, which are some of the cores of some of the more interesting objects. But so I started my journey with flipping a telescope. Keeping an open mind. Again, is that real? What am I looking at? Guess. I asked people to take a guess at what something looked like and what the name might be of an object. We'll get into it later on. And I will ask the same question to people who know what it is. Don't tell anybody. But keeping an open mind. I mean, this is a great shot. But what you're seeing here is probably at least minimum a 10 to 15 second shot. And it's in a very dark area. You can see a lot of stuff with binoculars and telescopes. That includes our planets and also the sun. But never, ever look through a telescope at the sun or with a pair of binoculars. Even with your naked eye. You ever look at the sun? Go, yeah, that's it, son of a gun. But either way, it has to have a proper filter on it. If you do look through a telescope at the sun, directly at the sun, I'm sorry to tell you that the eye in which you're looking through with it, or the pair of binoculars in the case of both eyes, you'll be blind in less than a half a second for the rest of your life. That's not to scare you, but it most definitely is the informative thing I have to tell everybody. So, that's a laser. See, I got a laser. Maybe you're interested in the planets. Whoa, we get really good views of the planets. Some of the more detailed planets, ones that are closer, including Mars, Saturn, which is quite large, Jupiter, Venus. You can see Uranus. No. Pluto's still a planet. Right, people? Yes, it is. Oh, my gosh. It's a dwarf planet. No, it isn't. It's still a planet. I know it says it there, but we don't. We believe it's a planet. Done. I ain't arguing with nobody. But I'll get into some more information about the planets. Since you're looking at planets, let's look at the planets. Give me a guess. How long does it take Earth to go around the sun one time? I got a hand up. Go ahead. How many? 365. There you go. Voila. Somebody who's smart. Ready? The dwarf planet that we still think it's a planet. He doesn't agree with me. How long does that take to go around the sun one time? Any guesses? Please. How many? 1,000 would be his guess.
He said 1,000 years.
1,000 years. Go ahead. 455. Any other guesses? None. 248 years to go around one time. Pluto, our planet, I'm just having fun with you. Was discovered in the 1930s. I think it was 1932 to be exact. Before it even got 1/4 way around, a little bit before it completed half of a revolution. It went from a planet to a dwarf planet. Come on. Mars and all that. I do have on, you can look at online. There is a chart that you can get. Basically, here it is. For instance, now, Mercury goes around a little less than 3 months. It goes around the sun. Like I said, Pluto, 248 years to go around the sun. Jupiter, 12 years, so a bit shy, a few days, so on and so forth. This chart is available online. All you have to do is search the right question. Time to take the orbit the sun, planets. Mercury. No, not our moon. Mercury is just like the moon, full of craters. Yes, it's hot. But what's the hottest? I got somebody who's really on the ball here. I'll stop for a few questions because I got to get through this. Go ahead. I can't hear. Somebody's got to scream it at me. I got bad ears.
He's half deaf. Hold on.
Jupiter.
Jupiter. What about it?
You had a question.
No, I was saying which one's the hottest planet.
He was saying Jupiter was the hottest planet.
I know you know. That's the easy part. Real loud.
She thinks it's Venus.
Yay, everybody. Yay. Absolutely. Why is it Venus? I'll ask him. It has an atmosphere full of greenhouse gases. Therefore, the sun's shining on it. It keeps it in and close. You can melt lead on the surface of Venus. There's Venus itself. Excuse me. And a picture of our moon. Moon, through the telescopes, you can see shadows in the craters. I swallowed the book. That's dinner. So Venus is the hottest planet. There's that. How come I don't have a picture of Earth? We're on it. Click. I got a picture of Earth. Looks like concrete, but whatever. Yay, yeah, yippee. Mars. Mars has 2 moons. We see Mars, and you would see the cap on Mars when we have a nice clear night. No problem. And you would see detail like this. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of this. Then I have another question. Look at Jupiter. Okay? Much better. Look at Jupiter here. What's that? Go ahead. Nope, the big red spot is not in this picture. Nope. I might be mistaken. That might be the big red spot. That actually, ready? That actually, it's one of the moons? You think so? No. It is not one of the moons of Jupiter. No, no more guesses. You see this here? It's a little round object. You see that? Come take a closer look. Go, go, go. Right here. Now he sees it. What you're looking at on the spot of Jupiter is the shadow of that moon being cast onto the planet's surface. It wouldn't be black. It would be bright. That's why you see the moon here, and that's the shadow. That's usually what we wind up seeing, even through our telescopes. Jupiter has over, you guys online can correct me, over 86 moons. 92. I'll take that back. 92. Saturn, greatest view in a telescope. No, you wouldn't see it in this kind of detail. It would be much smaller. Okay, but this is of course blown up with its 83 moons. Again, Mars with the cap. What is that? What is that right here? Go.
They said it's a storm.
I know he said it was a storm, but I don't know if that's right or wrong. But anybody know about the Aurora Borealis? Guess what? That is the Aurora Borealis happening on Jupiter. The photons from and the rays coming off of the sun, boom, you wind up with an Aurora Borealis. Uranus, we didn't know it had rings until 1976. 27 moons. Neptune with 13, with 5 of them viewable here. There's one that doesn't show here. It shows on my computer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it has 13 moons. And of course, Pluto, the planet, has 5 moons. Now, things in the sky, how big are they? Hopefully Chris has got the sound on, because I'm going to switch over to something else here. As soon as I can get there, we are. Ready? Moon. Venus. And if anybody needs German to it, there's some German for you. Remember where Earth is. Now watch this. That particular item,
Switch to Chrome to protect yourself from malware, so you can surf without.
it would take, in that last picture of the star, it would take 1,500 years for our normal, excuse me, for an airplane jet, 737, to go around that star one time. 1,500 years, to give you some sort of an idea. You can travel. How long does it take to go around once? About 30 hours. I've been in Asia, so I'm just using that as an example. Or you might like deep space objects, like myself. I like stuff that's out there, real far, and really cool. Oops. By my speaker here. All right. You might like comets. Chris, Chris Callie, one of our observer chair, who takes care of everything around here. No one gets paid. He does it voluntarily, as all of us do. He took a picture of a comet going over the back observatory. Phenomenal shot. Phenomenal shot. Or you might like galaxies. There's billions, if not trillions, of galaxies that we can see. With our space telescopes, it's really out there. One of my favorites, the Whirlpool Galaxy, M51. In this particular case, that's a galaxy. This is another galaxy. This galaxy is swallowing and drawing in the other galaxy. I will tell you, the kids, don't worry about it. We're going to collide with another galaxy. It's called Andromeda. But we have about 4 to 5 billion years to wait for it. I'm over it. Anybody else? Yeah. I figures you would be. M13. Phenomenal object. Now, the Whirlpool Galaxy, you would see some sort of detail with your naked eye. This is a star cluster. We don't get as much of the stars that you see here, but you can see that with no problem in a telescope. Andromeda. Now, Andromeda is really far, far away. It's actually 2.3 million light years away. Anybody good at math? Everybody here? Oh, this good. Next time you come, I have a math problem for you. 2.3 million light years. 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. So there's a bunch of zeros after whatever the answer is. So, the other thing I'd like to point out, and we're talking about light now. If I was the moon, the sun is going down, just like a light in your room. I apologize for my cough. Like the light in your room, you turn it on, boop. There's your clothes that mom's been telling you to go pick up. In the case of the sun is I apologize, everybody. In the case of the sun, let's make believe it's a light bulb. It is up now and it's on. Let's make believe it's full sunlight. I use my magic switch to turn off the sun. It won't be dark. Why? Go ahead. Yeah. He knows what he's talking about. I like to demonstrate. Anybody want to be part of a demonstration? Good. I was hoping you were going to say. No, you don't want to do this one. Guaranteed. Go ahead. Get over there. Why am I gonna? What? Now you can go sit down. Go ahead. That's it.
I
I
was
just
like,
want.
also be careful where you're pointing because electronics don't like wet, and I prefer
I
not
have
getting
fun.
electrocuted.
Okay, just like the sun, this is the sun. That's light. Listen carefully. The sun lets its light off. Did you hear it hit the ground? No? Let me point it at you. That time you heard it? Good. Yes, there's gravity, but there is no gravity in space, but yet light is coming off of the sun. It won't be dark. It won't be dark here for 8.5 minutes, even though I turned it off like a light bulb. So, the picture of Andromeda, that's not my picture. Somebody better than me. The picture that this person took, the light came off of it how long ago? 2.3 million years ago. This is what people have a hard time grasping. Squirt gun works a little bit better. Okay? Any questions so far? None. Okay, my favorite object. I already put the name on it, so the joke's over. Okay, Horsehead Nebula. Does it look like a horse's head? Yes, somebody who probably I showed the picture to already. But either way, my favorite object, my picture. 1,500 light years away. Again, I captured the picture, and the light from those objects and the cloud and all that came off of that object 1,500 years ago. Again, it's cool. Crab Nebula, M1. Okay, it's approximately 6,500 light years away. This is documented. This is a nebula. A nebula, planetary nebula. Planetary nebula. Why did they call it a planetary nebula? They thought at the time, when it was much further on in history, and I'll explain why I made that statement, they thought it was a planet exploding. It wasn't until later that they know that it was a star that had exploded. Our sun is going to go supernova. Again, nothing to worry about, a few million, billion years from now. So we're good. But the cool thing about this, M1, is it was also documented that it could be seen during the daylight through translation in China. They had it documented that they could see it during the day. And it is 1,600 light years, 6,500 light years away. So that object might, how long ago? 6,500 years ago. Another one of my favorite objects. The Orion Nebula. Can I go back just a half a second because I want to explain one other thing? Andromeda, you can see in a very dark dark sky area, be it in the west or someplace out on an island, whatever, you can actually see with your naked eye. I can see it with my naked eyes, and my eyes are shot. But you can see it here, and it'll be a smudge in the sky. Again, 2.3 million light years away. But with a pair of binoculars here, I take my laser, just like I do here, not this laser, I have a more intense laser, point it up in the sky. Do you see the end of the laser? Yes. I move it away, and you can actually see a smudge with a pair of binoculars. So that'll lead into my next set of subjects. Orion Nebula. Another object you can see with a pair of binoculars if you know where to look. See the witch's head? Well, actually, if you go this side, there's the nose, there's the big chin. Everybody's going like this. I can't rotate that. Oh, I could rotate it. I should actually rotate that around so it makes it easier for people. But the writing and the title would be upside down, so you'd go, "What the hell does that say?" Maybe you might like to see look at the stars, so on and so forth. Maybe something that you don't think is a star. You ever see the stars moving in the sky? What are they? Satellites. But in this particular case, somebody took a picture here. It's framed out, and it isn't a satellite. Any other guesses? It's not an alien. Go ahead. Nope. 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 We're done with guesses. Boom. Come on. No, because it moved. Oops. Notice, please, these two stars and maybe that one. They're actually out of frame, but that's those two stars and whatever. It's probably over here. But that object moved. It's a Tesla. Anybody willing to go up and get that Tesla? It's probably worth several billions of dollars if you can bring it back. It's on its way to Mars, I do believe. It will wind up crashing one day into Mars, I think. Why is the roof down? There's no wind or anything like that, you know. It's a convertible. Yeah, you're right. Maybe you see these guys. Speaking of which, da, 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 da. Oh, I got more than this. Oof, I got to put it in my presentation. Not that. Costumes I have. But either way. So maybe you might see these things. So again, maybe you could be the next person to put a car up in the sky or into space, or better, maybe help somebody with a movie. Maybe help land on Mars. One of the shows I like to present to people, it's offline now, or it's online now, but it was a show. And again, it was Exploration Outer Space. Great series. Really good for any of the younger people here, or somebody who just wants to know a little bit more. Anybody got the app, star apps on their phone? No. Oh, my, you do. But really very good. One thing you're going to have to learn is that you have to be able to know where stuff is in space. And the apps on the phones or our planisphere that we have inside, which is another tool that you can use to actually find stuff. It's really, really cool. Star charts are a good way. You can download them. There's another program that I like using, like Stellarium. Stellarium is an RIA app that you can put online, and it's a planisphere. Okay, Morris County College has got one. Several colleges have them. Hayden Planetarium. Below you see a shot. Okay, and this is for today. Okay, we will not be able to see meteor shower. Sorry, but either way, in the case here, this is the called the T Hercules coming out of Hercules. That was my next thing. Knowing that you're new to astronomy, there were some guys that were really weird about astronomy because there's the lines that they use to draw them out. Now, in this particular case, Gemini, which is right here, okay, I see two people, no problem. I know it's a little bit out of the way and it's not the whole thing, but it basically is the same shape on the other side. Anybody know what that is? That is Cancer. That is a crab. As I explain in my next slide, which I don't have the picture up, but either way, there was a bunch of Greeks that had to be sitting by a fire partaking in adult beverages and going, that looks like a crab. What do you think, Giuseppe or whatever? I don't know. That's Italian, but whatever. You know, how did they come up with these stinking shapes? And with Stellarium, you'll be able to see them. Now we'll get into some equipment. Again, there's various types of equipment. Astronomy for beginners. Sorry it took so long to get there. I wanted to introduce to what you might be able to see. Binoculars, small telescope, larger telescope, computerized telescope. Binoculars are a good choice, one, because when you go out camping or you go in your backyard or so on and so forth, you can take them out and you can start introducing the little ones, or you know, getting more familiar with the night sky. Binoculars are a great way to get it. So going star hopping with a planisphere or your app. These are too small, so don't get them now. It's not going to give you a good shot. But in the other case, these are a little bit too large. Don't buy these. That guy actually brought it with this car. Wrong. It would crunch the son of a gun. These are nice sized telescopes. Not telescopes, binoculars. Take the kids to a garage sale. Take yourself to a garage sale. I pick up good binoculars for between $5 and $10 that are in great shape. Just make sure that it's clean inside as well as the lenses on the outside when you evaluate them. As I was saying, Andromeda. This is a picture that was taken with maybe a 3-second or 2-second exposure, but you would still see something like a smudge. You'd probably see this area like right here and be able to see them with a pair of binoculars. On a clear night, no moon. Again, getting into that's Andromeda. It's 2.3 million light years away, and an approximate 2.5. It's from end to end is 220,000 light years long. Again, mass 6. Never mind. But Andromeda, with a long exposure, is actually the size of 3 full moons in our sky. But it's way far away. It will swallow us. We're not going to be able to swallow it. We're only about 150,000 light years across. Different types of telescopes. Newtonian. It's a reflector. Why is it called a reflector? There's my, I should get you to come up here and sit. You'll be able to answer them all. Why? Because what? Because there's a mirror in the back.
Because you can't see the space vampires with it.
No, that's out of the question. So it's a reflector. Light comes in, bounces off a mirror, comes up and hits a secondary mirror, and then out to your eye. This is also a reflector. This is more like my design telescope. So again, light comes in, bounces off here, and then goes on a tube and out the back instead of out the side. This is the type of telescope the guy had facing the wrong end. Refractor. Refractor, you're looking through a group of lenses. The young lady in the back is actually planning on making either a refractor or reflector. The next thing is mounts. A mount can be very simple. Tripod to a computerized base where you can actually pre-program its positioning and everything. Mine, it takes me about 20 minutes to set up. And once I set it up, I can find anything over my head as long as I put in the right number. That's another subject. So you have this kind of a mount, which is totally manual. This is just a tripod. They're very good if you know what you're looking at, which again, the moon wouldn't be a problem, planets wouldn't be a problem, and if you know where to point it, Andromeda, Orion Nebula, M13, which is a star cluster. Then you have computerized mounts. Notice the keypad here. This is where I would put in my M13, which is the what's it called, the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules. Again, that's just a number, and you get familiar with that. Again, I learned it all here. This telescope's a little bit big. Notice we're camping. I was at this place. I looked through that telescope. Collapsible. He has to take it apart, collapse it down, and he came inside an Envoy, which is an SUV, and he could fit it all in the Envoy. Somebody brought another trailer that he could sleep into, but phenomenal view. This is at a place called Cherry Springs State Park, which is just north of Jersey Shore by about an hour, about 4 hours away totally. Astronomy is a hobby from 8 to 80. Younger guys, I started my hobby again at about 52. I'm now almost 70, so go from there. No, it's a really cool hobby. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We take a lot of our pictures in the wintertime. You can see everybody's dressed nice and warm because the atmosphere is stiller. There is, like, when you look through a river, a lake, at a fish, number one, you have distortion of water. This is beyond distortion of water. This is clouds, but you have moisture in the atmosphere. In the wintertime, it's much drier, so therefore we wind up getting better pictures. Look at this poor guy. Actually, this poor guy was sitting next to me. Also, this is a manual telescope. His name is Greg Takish. Greg was one of my first people I got hooked up with and learned a lot from. Can find anything in the sky. It's a manual telescope, and he can find it. You want to look at M1, you want to look at M, so on and so forth. He knows where to point it, exactly where to point it, and finds the stuff. Phenomenal. Of course, it's very good in the summertime too. Welcome. Oh, I lost people, I guess. So it's of course good viewing in warmer weather. You'll notice, please, I don't know if you guys online or even here, everybody's looking, and they're not looking at that picture because it ain't there, but they're looking at something in the sky over here. International Space Station flying over. We have that a lot. Anybody seen Starlink go over? Anybody? Good. Phenomenal. Now, when I first saw it, it was dot, 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 dot in the sky in a straight line, and they were just coming through. Those are the Elon Musk satellites delivering internet access to remote areas in the world. Guess what? You won't see dot, 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 dot unless he puts up more. But we saw it one night. No, it's not moving as fast as my hand. Then another one, same. Oh, there's another one, same. Phenomenal. You see it now. They've gotten spaced out from each other. Here you are at UACNJ. We do have, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 permanent telescopes in place currently. We will have an additional 24-inch telescope right here. And 1 year, we'll get our 48-inch. Go ahead.
It's not my fault. Government paperwork takes forever.
That's phenomenal. It's ridiculous. There's a lot in outer space, even in New Jersey. Hold your question, and you can see a lot of the universe, even right here. And one of the biggest thrills that I like doing is just this, if I haven't bored the crap out of you, and also introducing the hobby to people. Again, thank you for allowing me to speak to you. I say this afternoon because I didn't take that slide out. It should be this evening. Have I gone too quickly? Afternoon, yeah. So end results are, we apologize ahead of time. It's terrible out there. But go around. We'll have, I know I will have my telescope open. You do have another telescope that you can look at. And again, if you have any questions, now is the time to do it. Go ahead.
All right, so we are going to have a question and answer session. Thank you, Ken, for another great presentation. So before it gets going, because I know some people are going to want to run to look at telescopes, when we go to leave, we are using our headlights because we don't want to get run over and we don't want to see anyone run over or have to fill out paperwork for people getting run over or having, there's a bug in my hair.
It's a heck of a mess.
Um, sorry. Sometimes it's distracting when you get a bug just on your face.
Duh.
When we're using our flashlights, do keep those pointed towards the ground because even though we are using our headlights, we don't need to add to the extra chances of blinding people with bright lights. Again, if you need the restroom, that is the porta potty to the back, illuminated in red now because I flipped the switch that I should have a long time. We also have a little museum and gift shop area that I'll be manning afterwards. And you have the right idea because you have had your hand up and raised and moved it around because I am kind of night blind since I've been monitoring chat. So I'm going to start off question and answer with this.
Is there soap in the porta potty?
There should be. They usually maintain that weekly. Yep.
Is that? Do you still use that?
That's a shed. So yes, we use it for storage. Just not important astronomy storage like the shears and rakes because we are in a forest. So our first online question, and I had to memorize this one because my phone died for a minute. If Mercury, which you said takes 3 months to go around the sun,
Yes.
maintained its same rate of speed, but was in Earth's orbit, how long would it then take to go around the sun?
1 year. It retains its speed.
Yeah,
It
if
would.
Mercury goes at the same rate, it however fast it be zooming,
Mhm.
but was further out, like in Earth's orbit, how quickly would it complete Earth's orbit?
Approximately 4 years.
That's a really?
Yes,
It goes
because
slower.
yes, it's going quicker, but it's also going out further. Therefore, that circumference that it's got to go around, okay, it goes around the sun one time in 3 months. I'm saying that because it's out further, going the same speed, okay, it's got a bigger circumference to go around. And the results are it'll be 3 to 4 years, guaranteed.
Online people, quick, do the math because I'm actually curious if he's correct or whether he's just making things up again.
Again.
All right.
Wait a second. So, if a solar eclipse means that the sun covers, or the moon covers the sun, then what would a lunar eclipse when in the sun look like?
On the sun,
Yeah.
the sun's giving off the light.
Yeah, but
He'd see
What
if
would
you
a
were on
lunar-
the sun, one, you'd be going, darn, it's hot. Two, if you could stand it, okay, stand that heat, you would see a real bright planet, as you would see all the planets bright. It depends on what side of the sun you were on, but the moon would be extremely bright with the Earth just bright behind it. I got a question. Scream it. She's got the microphone.
Hold on. I just wanted to check on what the next question was because I lost it. Okay, now I memorized that next question. Where was the hand?
Right here. Mm-hmm.
Hold on.
What is the fastest speed a rocket can go to?
Fastest speed the rocket can go to. Well, number one, for a rocket to even be launched into space, has to be going at least 17,000 miles an hour. That's just to get, that's escape velocity. Okay? To stay in that orbit, it has to be going faster than that. I think that's about 18 to 20 1,000 miles an hour to maintain its orbit going around without being pulled down into Earth because of its gravity.
As far as how the maximum speed it could go is
That's
probably dependent on method of propulsion and how strongly you build something. So that depends on what you're sending up there.
most definitely your payload.
Right. We're gonna give a couple other people a chance. Sorry, hon. I think I saw another hand out kind of in the back, but keep in mind I'm night blind, so you have to raise it and kind of wave it around. I
You-
swear.
Guess where he's going? In the back to raise his hand.
I always like to give. I didn't want to like just ignore the back half, but I'm not seeing the hand raised and flailing around.
Next.
So our next online question: what is your least favorite planet?
Least favorite planet? I gotta say, to be honest with you, would probably be Neptune or Uranus, because one, they're a single color. As far as what I can see with a telescope, it's like a greenish, blue planet. There's no real detail to see it. Whereas Jupiter's got its stripes around it, Saturn's got the rings, Mars has got the ice caps on either end, plus topography that you can actually kind of make up, being the dark areas on Mars.
Right. So, like I said, if there is a question, raise your hand, wave it about. The next online question is: if you were getting a telescope for your grandkid, what telescope would you get them?
One, how old's the child? Two, is he planning on using it as a baseball bat or a telescope? So therefore, with a child, depending on its age, I will say, let's say a 12 or 14-year-old. Now, that's somebody who I would assume are a little bit more mature. End results is a $300, $250 Walmart would be fine, but be aware, if anybody's interested in buying a telescope, there's other avenues that you can actually use, and those are eBay, Facebook. Be aware, they're selling used items, or there's two sites one site now. Astromart is still in existence. Astromart is a paid site where astronomers or people getting rid of telescopes will put their telescopes, and usually, again, they're in decent shape. But it's astromart.com. And I bought my first telescope that way, and the only thing I had to do was go to Connecticut to pick it up.
My suggestion: if you're buying for someone just getting in, get them a Dobsonian type mounted telescope. It's basically a base with a tube attached, and you plop the base down, the tube's in there, the tube goes up and down, the tube goes left and right. Very artillery mortar style pointing.
That
There's almost no setup.
or that.
And you will learn the sky. One thing, after you've been in the hobby for a while and you're willing to put in the time and effort to take some time to set up your telescope, then you might want to start considering the other ones where they're like mounted on the tripods or pier style mounts, just because you do encounter in having to align align with stars. So those are take more time to set up and use. So I always, if they are a beginner, start them out with a friendly telescope that's not going to make them want to shove it in the back corner of a closet and never see the light of day again. Actually, it would be the light of night.
You looking up Astromart, sir? You are? There you go.
Right. Was there another question? I think you had. Did you have another question? Okay.
What is the farthest object we've ever observed in space?
No problem. There's galaxies that I told you Andromeda's 2.5, 2.3 million light years away. We can see with telescopes, MA81, M82, those are in the millions, tens of millions. One, I believe, is 25 million light years away. So again, that light took how long to get to my eye? 25 million years. Now, I like trying to explain that to people because we're looking at stuff that, was the light that came off of that, dinosaurs were still here.
Yep. And actually, to even look at some of the farthest ones, I would suggest looking up some of the James Webb Space Telescope images, because they're gorgeous images, first of all, but they also have examples of galaxies behind galaxies, because you have the gravitational lensing effect, and it is really our most fancy. We're gonna go with the word fancy, fancy equipment we have up there, to look farther and deeper into space.
So again, you're looking at they're looking, the Hubble, the Webb, they're looking at things that are billions of light years away. Billions.
All right. So our next online question: are there any programs to get kids interested in working with the physics of sending people into space?
Ooh. Not that I'm aware of. You'd have to look that up online. But again, because getting involved with astrophysics is a very, very deep object. There's a whole bunch of stuff I don't understand nor grasp. Don't want to. It's too sophisticated to me. I would look in your local college areas who offer astrophotography or astrophysics, possibly at a more elementary level, and that way you go. Number one, I do want to say, hi everybody. I apologize for ignoring you most of the time. I like to talk to the people that can't talk
I
back to me.
actually know one, because we live stream on Twitch, and therefore I watch people on Twitch. I try and check out the various science streamers there are. And there's one who I don't know if he's still currently involved in a program where it's Airway Science for Kids Ask. And you could look that up online. I'll probably try and put a link to it, I guess, in the chat in a little bit once I can grab that off of the computer. Doing it on the phone chat is annoying. Where what they have done and is made a program where they've taken Kerbal Space Program, very fun game, deals actually quite heavily in the physics of getting something to space, where you have to worry about how much fuel you have, how much, speed, all that, deals with all the orbiting. And they've broken it down into missions to help kids start understanding, what goes into launching something. Do check out their website, because they're going to give you a much better rundown and probably have more details on various programs they run. Like I said, I'll toss that in the chat, in our online chat, which is saved. So if you go back on our YouTube after tonight, we do save these videos. If you wanted to check those out, you'll find the link in the chat there. All right. Was there another question out here?
None.
I always check, and now it's buggy, so sometimes I'm like, is that a question, or are they just swatting at the mosquito eating them? So our next question is, wouldn't light pollution be somewhat to blame for the differences in making out the shapes of the constellation and us making out shapes? Meaning, I'm guessing they mean that there's less light pollution back then.
Yes, most definitely, because they were looking at more stars that we can see even in the darker areas within the United States, because because again, you got to remember There were no lights. Yes, there was smoke off of fires, okay, and all that kind of stuff. So, as far as light pollution here, yes, it has a definite degrading ability for us to look into the sky. Out there, then, I'm sorry. Again, the crossed lines. If you put the lines in between the stars, no, that had to do with adult beverages. I'm sorry.
Right. So online people, last chance to get any last minute questions. I just want to make sure that my handheld chat didn't die. All right. So our next online question was, why is it only a hobby till 80?
How come there's what?
I believe it's in relation to the comment you made that astronomy is a hobby from 8 to 80. Why only till 80?
Because it's closer to my age and I'm about ready to stop. No, no. It's as long as you can walk and set up your own telescope, and or get somebody to help you with it. It can be up until hopefully I do it until the day I croak. So I'll go from there. So I'm 70 now. So
We'll see. Dun dun dun. Very ominous. Any last minute questions out here? Oh, I see one in the back.
You said you have a Discord channel. How can I get the link for that?
I actually have that linked on our website, uacnj.org. So,
Have you ever observed the International Space Station from here?
in a telescope? Heck no. That sucker's moving 17, 18,000, 19,000 miles an hour. I'm looking. One thing about, and everybody can try it here, the size of your telescope, or what they call field of view, and that's usually the length that light has to come in and or out to your eye, 700 millimeters, okay? Which is a smaller refractor. Take your hand like this, put it up against an eye. All right, I'm seeing from here to here. Now, a larger telescope, like mine, is 2,032 millimeter focal length. So I put it like here. Now I'm only looking from here to here. That sucker's booking. And it's like, oh, I've seen satellites go through. The International Space Station, no. How do they get it? Somebody with a really fast mount, and they have taken pictures. Okay, boom. I mean, it's very difficult to try to follow.
yeah, a lot of people who have the pictures of the ISS, for example, transiting the moon and whatnot, know that the moon will know that the ISS will transit over the moon, and have like literal military timers down to the nanosecond of this is when I press the shutter button. Um, as far as satellites, even meteor showers, the best way to observe them is the naked eye, just because, again, field of view and the ability of to move the telescope from one side to the other is usually that's much slower than what you actually need. All right.
We see satellites. We see we'll get an airplane going through. An airplane's like, oh crap, there goes it.
And
Yeah,
it's
that was an
gone.
airplane. That was an airplane. So on and so forth. It just moves much too fast.
All right. Was there another question? All right. So it looks like that finishes up the questions for tonight. I want to thank everyone who's come out here and joined us on this actually quite pleasant night. It's not raining tonight, so that that's always a plus.
Look, there isn't a single star in the sky.
But I believe Ken's gonna have his observatory open to show you his telescope and whatnot, even though physical visual telescopes cannot see through clouds. You can at least see kind of what a setup looks like. Uh, like I said, do check us out on our website, uacnj.org. It's where you'll find a lot of information about our telescopes here, our social media links, like that Discord channel. Uh, I I don't have a QR code in the museum area for that.
And again, thank you all very much. Also, everyone that is here, every person that is here is absolutely volunteers. We live on donations and or purchases from inside. If you'd like to purchase something, donate something, there's a can inside. There's a can right there. But please be aware, nobody gets paid here. We do it with the love. I enjoy everybody that actually has the ability to listen to me as long as I can talk. My wife usually is a good 5 or 6 minutes, and that's it.
And then she gets out the pillow and just down. What is it? Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver.
There you go.
All right. So with that, everyone have a good night and better seeing and clear skies.
Thank you, guys. That's for you.